Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. So, I wanted to bring you some more details. As I'm continuing to look into these cases, I'm finding out more and more information. And in the Romeo Nance case, I found some extremely disturbing information. But when I thought about it, it all makes sense. Um, Romeo Nance is the person that ended up shooting 8 people in, I believe it was New Jersey. I don't want to get that wrong, but my point is out of the 8, 5 of them were family members. And when his girlfriend, his son's mother, was arrested, and they simply said, well, she gave the police the wrong phone number. She said she didn't have a phone number for Romeo when they were initially doing the investigation to try to um, find him, locate him, so they could interview him and potentially arrest him for the killings. She was not really cooperating with law enforcement. She did sit down and talk to them, but something as simple as giving his phone number, she didn't want to do that. So they charged her with obstructing justice, something like that, a few months back. And my first thought was, wow, that's kind of harsh. Her son's losing his father. She's losing the provider. If they weren't together, even him just spending time with her son, that's pretty harsh. And I'm like, something else has to be going on because you don't typically see these type of charges when you're not involved. But guess what? They're saying it's more to this story. And honestly, it makes perfect sense because why charge her? She didn't do the shootings. She wasn't in the car involved, but they're saying she was more involved. They're pretty much coming out and saying she was there when some of the people were shot, including when some of the people were shot and her son was present, which is kind of concerning because at one point they even had an Amber Alert out for her son, thinking that he was missing, but her son actually witnessed some of the shootings. And I'm wondering, does he need some help? He's very young, but should he be going to counseling? Maybe start him with counseling. See if he recalls what happened, if he remembers anything, if he's having any emotional distress or problems or memories. And if not, maybe not do counseling, but initially see if he needs the counseling, right? But it goes in deeper. They're saying that there was communication between Kyleigh, the son's mother, and Romeo during the time after the shooting. So she may have had an idea where he was or could contact him because she was allegedly talking to him after the shooting. So this makes a lot of sense. And I want to share this information with you because, in some ways, I'm surprised, but in other ways, I'm not. Even though I feel like this is kind of knowing this is really saddening, disturbing because you could have helped the law enforcement. When Romeo Nance took his own life, maybe they could have prevented that. Maybe law enforcement could have found him quicker. It wouldn't have had to be where he went out of state and fled. I believe it was Texas. Because this story is months old, so I have a lot of cases. I'm trying to remember everything. But anyway, we want to prevent these types of things, the unalivings, when a person is overwhelmed and they're really having to deal with what they did and be accountable, maybe it could have ended differently if she had really worked with law enforcement to try to um, get him to surrender. Maybe he would come in, or maybe he wouldn't have taken his own life. So it's just some very, very disturbing details, and I'm here to bring them to you. I want you to know what happened, because this can help us. Understand the actions of people. Um, I doubt if she was in fear, because if he was gone, the fear is gone. He's fleeing. You don't have to take his cause, or you take his cause to help law enforcement find him. But she wasn't doing that. Um, anyway, let's get to the article. I want to read the article to you and not my words. Okay. So the article is by the Chicago Sun-Times. It's titled Daddy, Why Don't Shoot Me? New details released of Joliet rampage that killed 8. Listen, y'all got to listen to this. This is really, really disturbing information. More details. Um, this was written back, trying to get a date for you. It was March 28th, 2024, and it's by Tom Schuba and Andy Grimm. Okay. Suspect Romeo Nance's son witnessed the shooting of at least 5 relatives, according to Joliet police reports obtained through a public records request. The reports also indicate the child's mother was more deeply involved. So, when this case initially came out, there was concern that Kyleigh, she kind of thwarted the police from locating Romeo Nance quicker. Maybe if they had a number, they could get a location. They could try to track him. They could try to close in that gap of losing time. However, she said to the police, allegedly, she didn't have a number for him, that she only communicated with him through online, email, whatever. It was not true. It was not true at all. Now, what's shocking is these details, they never hit the public, because they went, they obtained the records from the police reports, and that's how the details, they came out later. Okay. So I'm so glad I keep scurrying through all these cases, trying to get as many details as I can. And wow, this drops. I didn't even know this, because I personally, I never understood why they zoned in on Kyleigh. I'm thinking she's grieving, she's got to take care of her son. She's a single mother. And, why arrest her? Why charge her? She go gets a high-powered attorney to fight the case. I see why now. They have details now of her actions, and she's involved, and she's right there, as well as her minor son. And I hope they're getting some counseling for him, some therapy if he needs it. Okay. Let's go on, because he's young. He's young. Okay. On a frigid afternoon this winter, a doorbell camera facing a snow covered Joliet street captured Romeo Nance grasping a stolen assault rifle as he stepped inside a family home. Hi, Dad, a child was heard saying before Nance allegedly killed 5 relatives in the home in the 2200 block of West Acres Road on January 21st. So, guess what they had to do? They got the camera. They see Romeo Nance getting in their house, and guess what? They can hear his little son on the camera saying, Hi, Dad, before he allegedly killed 5 of his family members. Daddy, why? Don't shoot me. The child cried out as his father opened fire. According to Joliet police reports obtained through a public records request. Daddy, why? Don't shoot me. Minutes earlier, Nance had gunned down his own mother and an uncle in another home on the same block. The records show the properties, they were right across the street from each other. He went from one house where they're saying he unalived his mother and his uncle, and then he came across the street and he unalived 5 more relatives. The child's mother, Kyleigh Cleveland-Singleton, was allegedly present and stuck around as Nance headed for the second home. That tells you she's either in fear or she's not afraid because she's not running. She's not trying to get away. Did she call 911? Did she escape? Did she hide? What did she do? His son is saying, don't shoot me. Horrific. Horrific. By the time police arrived on the block, the boy was gone and an Amber Alert was issued before he was found safe. Cleveland-Singleton has since been charged with a felony count of obstruction of justice, but records indicate that she had a deeper involvement in the case than first thought and remained in close contact with Nance when he went on the run. So again, in the beginning, we had no knowledge of this. The police, they kept this safe to the vest. And when she was charged, I questioned why? Who charges the child's mother? This is horrific. 8 people, this is a mass killing. Why would they charge the mother? Well, now this makes sense. They're going to lay out. They had to get the records. They had to get a subpoena, a court request, a freedom of information, a FOIA done. I don't know, to get these police records. This is why Kyleigh was charged. On the morning of the deadly rampage, Nance had a contentious text message exchange with his mother, Tamika Nance, after she apparently told him she was claiming her grandson in her tax filing and adding the boy to her public aid account. Listen, let me tell you something. Up to this point, up until now, I had no idea. Why did this happen? I question, I wonder, who goes and does this? Why? What did I tell you guys over and over again? Why do people commit crimes? Out of jealousy, envy, finances, a relationship breaking up, that heartbreak, that pain, money. People do things. It's almost like the root of all evil is money. And this is why they keep saying they don't know why. Up to this point, I was puzzled. But now, let me read it to you again. On the morning of the deadly rampage, that morning, remember, I believe the shooting started like 8 something in the morning. On the morning, this is somebody triggered, they're set off early, they're up, they're going to do something about it. You're not going to tell me I'm getting revenge, I'm paying you back, I'm coming. On the morning of the deadly rampage, Nance had a contentious text message exchange with his mother, Tamika Nance, after she apparently told him she was claiming her grandson in her tax filing and adding the boy to be her public adding the boy to her public aid account. This is money, right? Does it come in the form of cash? If you claim an additional dependent, they may get you possibly a child tax credit, additional child tax credit, etc. If you add them to your public aid account, if you have certain services, if you're getting assistance, that may increase your assistance. If you're getting funding, money, housing, whatever is a reason, it's a possible reason, and it happened the morning of the shooting. Let's continue. This is absolutely ridiculous, he wrote. How are you going to act like this? After the 7 killings on West Acres, the mother and the uncle, and then across the street, the 5. Let's just say all of their names. Tamika Nance was 47. William Esters was 35. Christine Esters was 38. Joshua Nance was 31. Alexandria Nance was 20. Alana Nance was 16. And Angel Nance was 14 years old. Let's continue. After the 7 killings on West Acres Road, police said Romeo Nance killed a man and wounded another in separate attacks nearby that officials have described as random. With police on his trail, Romeo Nance began driving his Toyota Camry toward the Mexican border, records show, but not before he bought a cell phone from a Joliet Walmart to stay in touch with Cleveland-Singleton, child's mother. While on the 1 a.m., Romeo Nance deleted a social media account and used the phone to frantically search Google, looking for news about the shootings and checking whether he needed a passport to enter Mexico. So his intention was to get to the border and enter Mexico. This is why he's in Texas. He also appeared worried that his car could be flagged by license plate readers used by police searching repeatedly about the technology. After Romeo Nance had been previously arrested for allegedly firing a gun during a traffic dispute, he took a keen interest in the police computer that pinged the plates of passing cars and provided the criminal history of the registered owners. So he's going back to his memory. And he said, well, I was arrested before. And when I was arrested, I noticed that the police are reading the plates and they're able to see the criminal history of the people. And he's wondering, is this going to happen to me while I'm trying to flee to Mexico? He's thinking about that. When the computer flashed an alert about one such driver, Romeo Nance appeared stunned. He was surprised with that technology, right? How much information the police know about the occupants of a car. No wonder y'all know how to get up on a MFer real quick, he said on camera. A day after the shootings in January, law enforcement officials tracked the Camry down in Natalia, Texas, about 115 miles from the border with Mexico. By then, Romeo Nance had fixed stolen Texas plates to the car, record show. So he was so worried about his license plates, he put over or he removed his license plate and put a fake stolen one on the car. Inside the Camry, officials found a pistol described as a ghost gun, an AR-15 that had been reported stolen from Indiana in 2003, an ammunition, records show. There were also two cell phones, including the one he used to communicate with Cleveland-Singleton. Video from doorbell cameras and a remote camera inside the home at 2225 West Acres show Cleveland-Singleton may have been inside the house as Romeo Nance gunned down his mother and uncle. Cleveland-Singleton went to her car, a GMC Acadia she had bought the day before, and drove across the street to 2212 West Acres as Nance walked over and shot 5 other family members inside, according to records. So when she got in her car, she went across the street. Why didn't you try to get away? Why didn't you run? Why didn't you go to police? You drive across the street, and he walks across the street and then goes and shoots 5 more family members. They're going to hold her accountable for her actions. Cleveland-Singleton and Romeo Nance exchanged 4 separate phone calls over a messaging app during the 20 minutes or so that the shootings lasted. The records state Romeo Nance also sent her $1,346 using a banking app that day. So he's got enough time. He's this aware to send her money. She's messaging him and they're exchanging phone calls over this time period of the shootings. It's like diabolical. Makes perfect sense though. Police appeared to be skeptical of Cleveland-Singleton from the moment they arrived at a Plainfield home where her mother and younger siblings lived and where she had arrived with her son soon after the shootings. Wearing sweats, Cleveland-Singleton spoke softly and said little as police and her mother persuaded her to go to the station, ostensibly to ask questions, but also to remove them from any possible danger posed by Nance and to offer counseling to her son, according to records and videos taken by police. It's some nasty stuff we're dealing with. I am worried you saw some kind of nasty stuff. One officer tells Cleveland-Singleton and her mother, we're obviously concerned with everybody else's welfare. Obviously, if he can do something like that. Cleveland-Singleton's mother replied, obviously, we want to do whatever we can on our part. An investigator asked Cleveland-Singleton when she last saw Romeo Nance, and she replied that she had seen him the previous day at a gym. A detective asked her for Nance's phone number. We don't communicate like that, she said. We communicate online. So why is this young lady protecting him? What would be the need for her to protect him? He's just unalive. His mother, his uncle, 5 family members here, someone else, and then another person is injured. Why are you protecting him? Stepping outside the house, the detective described the interaction with Cleveland-Singleton to another officer on his cell phone. We didn't search the house, but they're scared of Nance too. At least that's how they're portraying it, he said, reporting that Cleveland-Singleton said she did not have a phone number for Romeo Nance. He scuffed before requesting a tow truck to haul the Acadia to the police station. We asked her, "Where's Romeo?" And she said, "I have no idea," the officer reported. Another video shows Cleveland-Singleton at the police station some 40 hours later, seated in an interrogation room with a small mattress and a sheet of plastic on the floor. "What's going on?" she asks a detective after she makes a trip to brush her teeth. "You're under arrest, okay? And we're trying to figure out charges for you," an officer replies. "Under arrest for what?" she asks, leaning her head against her hand as she slumps in her seat. For some of the incidents that happened on West Acres," he replies. When the detective returns to the locked room a few minutes later with a phone for Cleveland-Singleton, she is wiping tears from her eyes. Cell phone data purportedly shows she and Romeo Nance were together at the Walmart where he purchased his new cell phone, and that the pair corresponded on messaging apps and had several long phone conversations as he was making his way to Texas after the killings. So, Walmart, can we implore you to search for any video demonstrating Kyleigh and Romeo were together when the cell phone was purchased? You have cameras inside, you have cameras in the parking lot, you have cameras in entry and exits. Can you find any camera footage for this police department and help them, right? Let's continue. The final call lasted 18 minutes as Romeo Nance would have been passing through Arkansas just hours before he unalived himself as local police and U.S. Marshals closed in on him at a Texas gas station. Cleveland-Singleton's attorney, Chuck Bretz, told the Sun-Times she is presumed to be innocent as to the charges against her, and I fully expect that time will bear that out. She is also a victim in this matter and has been thoroughly traumatized by what transpired, Bretz added. And why are you at Walmart? Why are you at Walmart when he's purchasing his cell phone? Why? Why didn't you, when you drove across the street from one house to the next, why didn't you pull off? Why didn't you go to the police? Why did you go to a hospital, fire station, anywhere where you can get help? But did you call 911? Like, there's a video. I'm gonna try to show that's in the article. So let's see. They may have some video of Mrs. Singleton. So these are the family members. Let me tell you who's in this picture. So the top left, that's mom. That's Tamika Nance's mom. She's 47 years old. Next is William Esters. That's right here in the center. Then Christine Esters to the right. And if we go down a little bit more, we have Joshua Nance, who's 31. Alexandria Nance, who's 20. Alana Nance, 16. And Angel Nance, who was 14 years old. So there is this video. So This is by CST. It says body cam shows Kyleigh Cleveland-Singleton talk to police investigators. Let's see if we can get.
You're Kyleigh. Okay, all right. So obviously, you know, kind of this some nasty stuff we're dealing with, right? New stuff.
It's all over.
Yeah, so it's kind of all over. So what I want to say, I am worried about the. I'm scared, like he saw some kind of nasty stuff. Did he say anything to you? No. Asking for Granny.
Asking for his family.
Oh, for his family. Okay. All right. So are you able to make it to the police department? Just to kind of give what you kind of know what's going on?
You're taking her?
So yeah, I mean not like obviously taking her against the will.
No, I'm saying like taking her.
Yeah, we can drive. Yeah, we can give her a ride. And so that's with the how old?
They probably have to bleep.
To, you know what I mean, cop in uniform,
Yeah,
like, you know, cause any freak out, just to make sure it's okay, and kind of see what's going on. And they're real good at talking to you and figuring out what's going on, if there's, you know, therapy type things or something like that. So kind of want that to happen too. We have like an on-call therapist that's really good, that'll sit down and explain everything with you and kind of make sure she's okay. So I don't know, are you able to the police department with you and we give Kyleigh a ride?
How do you feel? I'm here for you. So.
Yeah, we're just helping out. If you
can't.
No?
We want to do everything that we can on our part.
Sure. Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, you understand. Like I said, we're
Okay. Tell me, guys, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Now that you have more details emerging, what do you feel? I mean, this is a total tragedy, but I believe it's compounded, with different factors. Maybe if she had called the police, she was present, if she escaped, if she got away, if she drove her car off, maybe those last two people wouldn't have been one killed and the other one injured. You have to look at people's actions, and she wasn't fearful that something was going to happen to her. She wasn't threatened. Now her son seeing that violence, I'm sure that was a natural reaction to say, "Dad, please do not shoot me." But it's so much darkness in the world, so much evil in the world. And every day you have to try your level best to do what you can to insert the light, to make the right decision. And, I don't want to pass any judgment on, Kyleigh Singleton Cleveland, of course, but this is damning. This is damning information. And I do feel they're rightfully so in charging her with obstruction. She had communication with him. Allegedly, she was with him at the Walmart. She had a phone number for him. She lied to police. So maybe things could have been different. I don't know. We will never know. But I just want to bring this set of new information to you, because all of this I did not know. I'm always constantly searching for new details of how something unfolds when a crime happens. I want to know the why, the when, the how. And this is an interesting case to me, but now I see it was all over through the messages with his mom about her adding his son to her tax filing and to whatever case she has. Um, this may have triggered everything to unfold. And unfortunately, that pulled in the family members being directly across the street from each other, being also killed by Romeo. Yeah. Okay. Well, if I find out any more details, I will definitely bring them. I have been looking for an update on Mrs. Kyleigh Singleton. What's her last name? Singleton. I can't think of her hyphenated name now, but I have been trying to find an update on her as she's going through the criminal process. I haven't been able to find an update because mainly her name is tied to Romeo Nance, and they may not follow her as she's being prosecuted for this count of obstruction. But I've been looking, so if I can find something, I will definitely bring it to you and bring you an update. Or if I find out any more details, as I've been looking and looking, more things continue to unfold. So thank you for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. I want you to have a wonderful day. Stay smart, stay safe, stay savvy. Be well, all my friends. Bye, everybody.